Hey, what's up, everybody? For this video, this is going to be my top 12 NBA MVP candidates for the 2010-2011 NBA season. Now the NBA season is pretty much done with and the playoffs are upon us. I figured I'd just run down this list. Now, obviously, the guys at the bottom half of the list don't have a chance of becoming the MVP, but if I was to pick, the 12 best nominees, this would be the list. So the NBA playoffs is coming up. Really excited about it. I think this is probably going to be the best NBA playoffs since probably 1993. I think it's going to be that good. I know that goes back a while, but I think that's how good I think these playoffs are going to be. There's just so many intriguing matchups, particularly not so much in the first round, but the second round. That second round is going to be insane. But yeah, let's break it down. Number 12, I'm going to go with Amari Stoudemire. Obviously, a lot of you guys know he was traded from the Phoenix Suns to the New York Knicks. I feel like Amari really was better than a lot of people expected. I didn't expect him to be this good. He pretty much made an immediate impact. The Knicks were pretty much, playing around with like the fourth or fifth seed by the time Christmas came around. They were just so exciting to watch. They ran a couple of the better teams into the ground, like San Antonio and they beat a lot of good teams, and they beat Chicago as well. But the Knicks are very, very inconsistent. I think the Melo thing really fucked them up a little bit. Just a lot of distractions going on, and now they're finally playing good again. But maybe if they just kept that core group together and didn't get involved with any trade talks, I'm sure Amari and the Knicks would have probably finished a little bit higher in the playoff standings as well. But yeah, Amari's had a great year. Just the Knicks are just a little bit too inconsistent. A lot of it, you can't really blame Amari for it. A lot of it has to do with management and, the trade thing with Carmelo. So Amari's at number 12. Number 11, I'm going to go with Lamar Odom. Odom's probably going to be the sixth man of the year, without a doubt. But I think you could argue that Lamar Odom has probably been the best player on the Lakers, not the whole season, but I would say part of the season. I would probably say like from November to maybe mid-January. I think you can make a strong case that Odom was pretty much, the best player on the team. I just felt like, he made the biggest impact whenever he came into the game off the bench. And the guy is just so fun to watch. I mean, he could just do it all. That's a perfect nickname for him that Kenny Smith gave him, the goods, man. But I just want to say, I think playing overseas in the, for the USA team really helped Lamar Odom. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, you could definitely see the improvement. He's just been on top of his game. This has been his best year. He definitely should have made the All-Star team, and I will put him at number 11. It's a big reason why the Lakers are still where they are today because of Lamar Odom. All right, number 10, I'm going to go Russell Westbrook, the point guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Greg Anthony said this, and I agree with him. Probably the most athletic point guard in NBA history. I think you could definitely make that case. But I know C-Dude, if he watches this video, I remember a particular time when he said that I put Durant over Westbrook, and he said, "Why would you put Durant over Westbrook?" Because when Durant was out with an injury, Westbrook was actually leading the Oklahoma City in scoring, and they actually beat the Celtics, and they went on a great run while Durant was hurt. So that's totally understandable. But going right into Kevin Durant, I have him at number 9. I just think that he's the NBA's leading scorer. I still think if you take Durant off the Oklahoma City Thunder, they might not even make the playoffs. So. But you can't deny Durant's athleticism and his overall scoring ability. I mean, the leading scorer in the league, very, very tough to do. He's going to do that for a second time in a row. So I think that says a lot right there. Still good enough to be number 9. Probably should be a little bit higher, actually, but maybe so. But at number 8, I'm going to go with Dwayne Wade. Wade, I think Wade's had a pretty underrated year, in my opinion. I mean, he got off to a shaky start. I know he missed the preseason. I know he had a tough time getting warmed up and everything, but seriously, if LeBron didn't come to the Miami Heat, I really feel like Miami might be just as good or have close to the same record, with just Wade and Bosh. Because if LeBron didn't come to Miami, they wouldn't have had to clear all that cap space, and they would have ended up probably keeping Beasley and some of those other guys. If Haslam didn't get hurt, who knows? Maybe Wade could have had. I think this could have been Wade's best season to date if LeBron didn't come aboard. I mean, Wade has played. I think Wade and LeBron, you got to give both of those guys credit, considering how weak the rest of the Miami roster is. With Mike Miller being totally underwhelming, and a lot of those guys just not being great NBA starters. So yeah, so Wade's still good enough to be number 8. Number 7, I'm going to go with Manu Ginobili from the San Antonio Spurs. Now Ginobili's been hurt for like the last couple years, but this is the first year he's been healthy in a while, and definitely, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can make a case that Tony Parker, him being healthy, has a lot to do with it as well. But I feel like Ginobili is what makes them go. The guy is just so smooth. I mean, this isn't about moves and charisma on the court, but wow. I mean, Ginobili, I mean, he's a hell of a scorer. I just feel like if he's not playing good, then San Antonio just doesn't have a chance. But overall, I mean, San Antonio, they're more of a collective unit, great coaching, and, from top to bottom, they're just a very, very balanced team with a lot of veteran leadership. But still, I would say Ginobili is the best player on the team, and a big reason why the Spurs have the best record in the league, you got to say, is Manu Ginobili. Number 6, Chris Paul. We're talking about, MVPs. I mean, I think the easiest way to determine whether someone is legit MVP is to look at the team and say, if you take him off that team, just how bad would that team be? And, I think, if the New Orleans Hornets, if they did not have Chris Paul, I mean, we're talking about a team that might be the worst team in the league, possibly. But, Chris Paul got off to an awesome start. New Orleans Hornets had like the best record in the league for the first couple weeks in November. But then, obviously, I don't think anyone thought they were going to be, that good. So, eventually everything caught up to them. They kind of slipped. But, they're still going to make the playoffs. And I just think Paul's had a pretty underrated year, probably the most underrated year out of anyone on this countdown. So that's Paul at number 6. Number 5, Dirk Nowitzki. If Dirk didn't get hurt and, if Caron Butler didn't get hurt, this could have been Dirk's best season. Before he got hurt, I think his numbers were actually better than the 2007 season. That was when he actually won the MVP. But I don't know, man. Dallas has had a good year and everything, but you just don't hear a lot of buzz about Dirk. I don't know what it is. I just think this year could have been a little bit better for Dirk if he didn't get hurt. I'm not sure. Dallas used to be on TV all the time, but they're not really in the national spotlight that much. So that kind of hurt, Dirk's buzz for the MVP. But, without a doubt, Dirk is, after all these years, probably the most consistent NBA player over the last decade. I would say is Dirk Nowitzki. So, still the man. I still put him in the top 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with Kobe Bryant. I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan, but I'm going to put him at number 4. I think that's fair. In my opinion, Kobe's had this is Kobe's weakest year in a very, very long time. This is probably the most dull year he's had as far as stats go since probably the first year they won the championship with Shaq, where he pretty much just averaged about 19, 20 points. But no doubt about it. I mean, you can see since the All-Star break, Kobe definitely stepped up his game. He just took the NBA All-Star Game MVP award, no questions asked. He just grabbed it, and then after that, the momentum pretty much carried on to the regular season. I mean, I think they only lost like one game out of their first 15 games after the All-Star break. So you got to give Kobe credit there. I still think he's a great closer. And he's the one that makes the Lakers go. I still feel like Bynum, Gasol, and Odom, they're still a very, very talented team, but I think they're a soft team, though. I think a lot of those guys are soft, and it's up to Kobe to get those guys to work hard, and as well as Ron Artest. I think Kobe's really been a big influence to Artest, stepping up his game and his defense since the second half of the season started. All right, so at number 3, I'm going to go with LeBron James. Now, LeBron, I mean, he's playing great. I thought he started off kind of slow. He didn't look like the LeBron of the last couple seasons during November, but I think the turning point of the season was getting that monkey off of his back, by playing in Cleveland, just getting that game out of the way with all the boos and all the negative criticism. And once that happened, you see LeBron was just better than he ever was. I feel like his conditioning got a little bit better. I think playing under the Pat Riley system with Eric Spoelstra, you could tell Miami's running those guys really hard in practice. So I think I think he's like, as far as athleticism goes, I think LeBron's never been better. And you got to give him credit too. He's like averaging almost a triple-double every game. And I mean, you can make the same case for Wade, and you could say LeBron is he's just not working with a lot of talent besides Wade and Bosh. I mean, besides that, this is a pretty bad NBA team. And I think you also have to give LeBron credit for just jumping into a new situation and just making such an impact right away. Even though Miami has now LeBron's, I'm only going to put him at number 3 because I feel like they've kind of underwhelmed. I mean, it's been disappointing. I mean, people were saying that Miami was going to win 70 games and break all these kinds of records. But they pretty much just ended up being just another pretty good team, but not great. So I'll still put LeBron at number 3 because I mean, like I said, you can make a case, and people will tell you this, that he's having just as good as a season as the 2 years when he did win the MVP. Number 2, I'm going to go with Dwight Howard. This has been Dwight Howard's best year. I feel like Orlando has gotten worse. I don't know what it is, but they just seem to get worse and worse every year ever since they made it to the finals in 2009. I thought the Vince Carter trade and trading Carter and Michael Petras would help them. I'm not really sure if it did, though. I think they've gotten better, a little bit better offensively, but defensively, I don't think it's really done nothing for him. Gilbert Arenas has been disappointing. Let's face it, Turkoglu's not as good as he used to be. So, if you take Dwight Howard off of this team would absolutely suck. And so I got to say, Dwight, he definitely improved, his hook shot. I think he's a little bit more fluid around the basket. He's got more of a rhythm and more of a touch offensively than he used to in the past. Free throw shooting, I think, has improved a little bit. But, man, this guy is such a beast. And watch the game they played against the Lakers. When they played the Lakers in Orlando, he single-handedly just dominated that game. So I got to go with Dwight at number 2. Even though Orlando, they don't have a great record, compared to the past. I mean, they've had a pretty bad year. But I feel like statistically and just as far as, impact goes and, just making a difference, this has been Dwight's best year without a doubt. At number 1, obviously, I'm going to go with Derrick Rose. I think this is everyone's favorite. There's some LeBron fans out there that will probably disagree, but I mean, this is the most likable and most popular player and most humble player I think I've ever seen. I mean, I haven't seen anyone say a bad thing about this guy, and I think it doesn't even come close. I don't think anyone expected Chicago to be this good. I mean, it's scary to think how good they would be if LeBron actually signed with Chicago or Wade signed with Chicago, man. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe they would be worse. Who knows? You got to deal with chemistry issues there. But the reason why Rose is number 1 is because they never really had a consistent starting lineup all year, and they still got the big wins under the belt. Boozer was out for the first couple months. Chicago was still good. Then Joakim Noah actually went out for a couple months, and Boozer came in. I thought Boozer and Rose had just tremendous chemistry. And, they were still good. They were probably even better. And then now with Noah and Boozer coming in, it's deadly to see exactly how good this team could be. And Rose has definitely improved his shooting. His overall numbers are up. Without a doubt, he's the best point guard in the league. Before the season started, everyone was saying Deron Williams, Chris Paul. Some people were even still saying Steve Nash. But, without a doubt, I think Derrick Rose is the best point guard in the league. It's without question. Jordan has great things to say about this guy. Everyone will tell you he's the MVP. I mean, if you don't think Rose is the MVP, then there's a good chance you're a big LeBron James fan. But yeah, so that's the top 12 NBA MVPs of the 2010-2011 season. Let me know what you guys think about the playoffs. Are you excited about the playoffs? If you don't think Derrick Rose is the MVP, then let me know. Let me know if you think this order is kind of whack. And let me know if you make any adjustments to the actual list. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and take it easy.